just absolutely drains that one.
Good afternoon and welcome to Mill Creek, Washington and Jackson High School, the home of the number 3 game to the state playoffs. It is a big prize awaiting the Edmonds Woodway Warriors and the Arlington Eagles. Edmonds Woodway comes in the number 6 seed in the District 1 playoffs. Arlington Eagles, the number 1 seed, but find themselves having to go the long way. And also, though, find themselves the number 6th ranked team in the state of Washington with a record of 20-3. Joe Marsh has this group playing some very good basketball. Rebecca Wells in her second year at the helm, 18-5 record heading into this matchup. These two teams met back on January 7th, and Edmonds Woodway won in a thriller up at Arlington High School, 81-79 in overtime against a then-ranked number 5 ranked in the state Arlington squad. These two teams very evenly matched if you look down both the rosters and as far as the programs themselves. If you go back over the last 6 years, Edmonds Woodway has more wins to their name and a 70% winning percentage. 107 wins to 47 losses, has been to the state playoffs 3 times, including last season, and has a 5th place trophy in the case back from the 09-10 season. Arlington Eagles, on the other hand, 690 winning percentage, not shabby whatsoever over the last 6 years, 98-44 record. And they have been to the state playoffs 2 times over that period. And their prize in the trophy case, a 2nd place trophy, losing in the championship back in 2012-2013 to Meade out of Spokane, 58-42. So an outstanding couple of programs and basketball teams await the number 3 trip to the state playoffs. Winner is done. And we'll take a break on STSPN. Come back with the tip-off in just a moment. Welcome back on STSPN and the Sound Live Sports Network. Simulcast here, online and around the greater Pacific Northwest. A great basketball game coming up here in girls 3A action. And Thursday night, Arlington winners over Stanwood 64-45. That puts them in this ball game right here. Edmonds Woodway had to travel all the way to Canada, perhaps the longest trip they'll make this season. 77-53 winners over the Golden Eagles of Ferndale, and a game that they got out very fast. A 31-point outing in the first quarter of that ball game, and we are set to go here. Edmonds Woodway in the purple jerseys, white lettering, and the Arlington Eagles in the white jerseys and the navy blue letters. Edmonds Woodway will jump Missy Peterson against Jessica Ludwig. And it'll go to Arlington first. Edmonds Woodway starting 5, Maddie Burdett, Natalie Casper, Claire Fife, Moni Jackson, and Missy Peterson. For the Eagles, Gracie Castaneda, Serafina Balderas. There's a miss, and taken in by E-Dub. Sevy Beasler, Emma Janosek and Jessica Ludwig will be the starters for Arlington. As we head the other direction, still no score. We're just underway here at Jackson High School. Arlington able to do it outside. They have the bodies to shoot. One player that we have not seen much of there is Missy Peterson, the sophomore with the deuce on the coast-to-coast runner from the right-hand side. Jayla Russ averaging 8.7 points a game. The junior, a big body and a big threat underneath, not in the starting lineup, will come off the bench tonight. And it'll be interesting to see what Edmonds Woodway does to match up against her. Probably Claire Fife early. And then most likely you'll see a combination of either Missy Peterson or even coming off the bench, Bakken. And there's a foul. That'll go against Peterson. She's going to have to be careful underneath. She likes to play inside. She can also run the perimeter. There's a missed shot and an opportunity back up goes Beasler, who averaging 8.1 points a game, will head to the free throw line. That'll goes against Natalie Casper, her first personal foul, second on the team. And Beasler to the free throw line. Hits the first free throw. About half the crowd behind us. Equally split here. Edmonds Woodway and Arlington as Beasler puts in both, and we are tied 2 apiece with 6:49 to go first quarter. Again, last meeting, Edmonds Woodway won this one in overtime. There's a long 3-ball. Casper off the back iron, no good. Fife and Ludwig trying to collar the rebound, and finally it comes away. Arlington brings it up into the front court. Janosek, who had a very good ball game against Glacier Peak in the loss in the semifinal matchup, will now take it in, leaves it short. Peterson rips down the rebound. She'll take it herself. Has a lead Jackson. Now the dump off to Fife, up with the left hand, no good, and it will go back to Edmonds Woodway. E-Dub getting out, running the court early. And Arlington matching pretty much step for step, a very evenly matched team as far as team speed goes. Edmonds Woodway has more of a shooting squad as they have a higher percentage as Peterson drops in the 15-footer. There's the kick out, long ball, 3 on the way, no good. Casper with the rebound, long to Peterson. She has 2 to beat. We'll skip by. Out on the floor, a foul right in front of the Arlington bench will send Peterson on the floor, brother. Balderas picks up foul number 1, only the first team foul on the Eagles. Casper to inbound, gets it to Burdett. Left-hand dribble drive now into the paint, stops now. A hesitation dribble, goes up with that right hand. A little kiss off the glass, no. Rebound ripped down by Ludwig. She's got 3 already in early going. 5:41 to go here in the first quarter. 6th ranked Arlington Eagles against Edmonds Woodway, who was ranked as high as 4 in the regular season. Burdett trying to get the steal, and it comes up to Ludwig. She'll put it up and is fouled. That'll go against Claire Fife. Active hands by Arlington takes that one right away from Claire Fife. And back to the line go the Eagles. This time Jessica Ludwig, who averages 10.3 points a game. Had 16 points the other night in the win against Stanwood. Can't hit the first. 5'9" senior. Steps up to try to split the pair here. And leaves that one right over the top of the cup. So 1 for 2, 3 for 4 are the Eagles from the free throw line. 3 team fouls to 1. Edmonds Woodway, the disadvantage there. They get it underneath the Casper, goes up, gets body bumped. And now Jackson will go right up with that right hand from 5 feet. Here's Burdett, kick out to Casper. They give the long ball to Moni Jackson on the way. No, back iron. Rebound once again, Jessica Ludwig. She's 5'9", plays more like 6'1". Has 4 rebounds in the quarter. And now a double team and a timeout on the floor as Joe Marsh wants to save the possession. And a 30-second timeout will stay right here on STSPN and Sound Live Sports Network. 4:57 to go and a slim 1-point lead for the Edmonds Woodway Warriors over the Arlington Eagles. Missy Peterson, all the scoring for E-Dub, 2 buckets, a 15-footer and a right-handed runner. Arlington, 18-3, find themselves right in the mix of the top 10 teams in the state of Washington. At number 6, of course, the Linwood Royals out of the West Coast South. Number 1 in the final AP top 10, 20-2. Right behind them, West Seattle at 21-2. Bellevue behind them at number 3, 20-3. Glacier Peak will find Linwood in the championship game a little bit later tonight, 6 p.m. There's a 3 on the way, no good. Offensive rebound, well, guess who? It's Ludwig. We've called her name a few times, stolen away by Burdett. Here's Peterson, stops in for a 3, left that one short. Balderas comes away with a rebound. Now they'll advance to Castaneda. Right-hand side, now to the left, Janosek. They'll swing it around against this zone defense. And now they'll finally get the entry pass, gets the double team, pushes it up against Claire Fife, no good, out of bounds. Here's the shot by Beasler, now left that one long. And now here come the Eagles into a double team. Goes Claire Fife on the dribble drive and ends up finding the deck. She will be fouled. That will go against Jessica Ludwig, her first personal foul, second team foul. And now checking in is a very dangerous Jayla Russ, 8.7 points a game, and can do it from both the inside and outside. Hit 3 3-pointers against the Glacier Peak Grizzlies in the semifinal matchup. Having to bring Kyla Watkins out from her normal defense there in the post. And now I'd like to welcome in Steve Willits, joining us for the color commentary here on STSPN and Sound Live Sports Network.
Keith, how are you?
Well, very entertaining ball game so far. A lot of missed opportunity. There's a nice little shovel pass over to Claire Fife, who dumps it in front of Jayla Russ.
First thing that's jumping in my mind here is that at this rate, we're not going to have 160 points tonight like the last time these two teams played.
Overtime win, 81-79, and both teams struggling with the field goal. And now coming in, Kate Woolley, a 5'4" junior, will enter, replacing Fife. So they go size for speed now. Very defensive-oriented Kate Woolley into the ball game. And then against the full court pressure, probably want the hands team out there. The dribble now goes into the trap. Burdett will spring free. Now cross over in traffic. Now go right hand and dumps it out to Jackson, top of the key. So a very quick-paced game so far, Steve. A lot of open shots, but not much falling so far.
No, and it's probably a little bit of the nerves that are going on between these two, knowing that this is a big game.
Big game it is. Winner on to the regionals, and eventually you would hope the state tournament, one of the tougher districts in the state of Washington. And if I were drawing a number 3 seed out of this district, I would be really frightened. There's Missy Peterson with another deuce. She's got 6 points to lead all scorers, 8-3.
A lot of times in this particular district, it's the shoes on the other foot. It's usually our teams not wanting to face number 3s in other districts, and this year it's the other way around. Wesco is certainly they are the teams to beat right now.
There's a long 3 by Russ. Bottom of the cup, nails it. A triple comes in right off the bench and makes it a 2-point Edmonds Woodway lead, 8-6. And Russ is dangerous anywhere you can put her on the court.
You just took the words right out of my mouth. You can't just guard her down low and think that she's going to post you up. She pops out and can hit 3s all day.
And Moni Jackson, ditto that.
Another player who's going to beat you in all different sorts of ways, one of which is a 3-pointer, and she shows it there.
Back to a 5-point lead. E-Dub on top now. And there is the runner in the key, no good. Offensive rebound, no, it's taken away by the purple jerseyed Edmonds Woodway Warriors. In white with the navy trim the Arlington Eagles. Back to Jackson. Left-hand side to Casper. She'll try to drive in. Now has it almost blocked. Almost a jump ball. Jayla Russ got a hand on it. And now an offensive foul as Kate Woolley pushed off on Beasler going through the key. And that will be Woolley's first personal foul. And back into the ball game, Claire Fife to give Peterson a rest
And I'll tell you what, that might have been a really late whistle. I looked up when the whistle was being blown, and Woolley was nowhere within 5 or 6 feet of another player. So unless the referee had to just stop and think about it for a moment, I didn't see the penalty. Not to say that it didn't happen, but certainly it was not when the whistle was blown.
Now back into that zone defense. Here's Janasek, kick out now outside to Ludwig. Back to Janasek, top of the key. Arlington being very, very patient in their half court as Castaneda drives in. No. Partially tipped away there by Fife, and it might have been Woolley rather that got a hand as she was going up.
So the thing that I'm watching in this game, Keith, and we noticed it last game too, Castaneda, Balderas, Beasler, 3 players who score a lot of points for Arlington all season long. Last game, I want to say the 3 of them combined for 5 points in the first half. Today so far, 2 between the 3 of them.
There's a 2 on the way, just inside the arc. Offensive rebound and another one. Finally putting it up and in is Jessica Ludwig. She's got 7 rebounds in a quarter of basketball here. And just owning the paint, nobody from Edmonds Woodway able to duplicate.
And that's the thing we've noticed about Edmonds Woodway all year long. They don't crash the boards as hard as other teams do, and at times it costs them.
Pump fake now. Woolley bounce pass, tried to thread the needle on a little dump down to Claire Fife, no good, and back into a steady and consistent half-court offense. Joe Marsh choosing to slow things down.
Yeah, and you see this in the playoffs often. I mean, we see it at all levels, pros, college, everything.
And it also helps that you want to take the last shot. There it is, short corner jump shot from Sevi Beasler, and that will be the first quarter of play. So Edmonds Woodway jumped out to a 5-point lead at one point in time here in the quarter. Arlington comes roaring back to make it only a 1-point lead. We'll be back on Sound Live Sports Network and STSPN. Welcome back. Start of the second quarter here at Jackson High School. Edmonds Woodway Warriors clinging to a 1-point lead, 11-10 here after one period of play. A lot of basketball going on. One of my favorite weeks of the year, Steve.
Oh, it's been a busy week all around, and really it's all culminates today with 4 huge games here at Jackson.
And we'll run down the brackets for you. Games going on right now in the 4A consolation. See who goes to state and one of 2 teams that will make it. There's the kick to Burdett. Long 3 on the way. Left that one just a bit short. Here's Casper with the offensive rebound and the putback. And once again, another rebound for Jessica Ludwig. Janasek, kick out to Russ. No. Here's Burdett, 1-on-2, but she's got 2 trailers. Will hesitate dribble, now a little kiss off the glass, can't get that one to fall. Peterson goes over the top for the foul. That'll be 2 on Missy Peterson. And you gotta be careful now if you're the sophomore to not get your team who desperately needs you in a bind because they can't keep you on the floor.
You know, and especially in a game like this when you've got somebody like Jayla Russ down low, Missy is gonna be a huge part of what they wanna do for this entire game. And if she's in foul trouble later on, Claire Fife's gonna be really busy down there by herself.
Arlington with an opportunity to take the lead for the first time in the ball game. Should they get a basket here, other than a free throw? 7:10 to go, second quarter.
Hey Keith, let me jump in here. I wanted to thank Teresa and Sound Sport Live for all the support they've given us this season and throughout the playoffs here.
There's the reverse by Jayla Russ. She's got 5 points, and the Arlington lead comes at the 6:49 mark here in the second quarter.
You mentioned earlier just the openings were there, the baskets just weren't falling, and all of a sudden Arlington, 6 straight points. Edmonds Woodway needs to do something to stop the momentum right now.
And how many times have you seen made shots be so contagious? As there's another rip by Ludwig. And now I've lost count, but she's got to be nearing the double figures mark in rebounds.
She's really doing a good job of keeping her team in these games, really all tournament long.
Now here's Russ, dribble drive, has it swatted away by Fife, and now Burdett will bring it up to Jackson. Long lead pass to Casper, and E-Dub content to slow it down, which is a rarity.
Yeah, and it was right before the quarter I was starting to say that. You see that at all different levels in playoff basketball. Teams that are normally high octane and like to get up and down the court, they tend to slow their game down and be a little more conservative, and definitely changes the complexion of these games.
There's a stop and a little double pump. No good, and knocked away by Sarah Short, who entered the ball game. Short, a 5'6" junior, and now we've got some substitutions as Woolley, Bakken come in for Edmonds Woodway. Janasek will leave.
Great anticipation by Short. That's a pass that Moni Jackson makes all season long. The no look, more often than not, she slides it into players' hands and gets an assist for it.
There's a pump fake and a drive in by Claire Fife, who didn't like the call, but busts into a triple team. And a travel violation gives the ball back to the Eagles with 5:42 to go here, second quarter. 1 point lead for Arlington. First time they have led in the ball game, although we're early going here. And now the shot from three. Bingo! Peyton Brown, and you cannot leave her open because she will hit them. School record 9 3-pointers against Stanwood earlier in the season.
Yeah, tied the school record. She's only a freshman, and that was about 2 weeks ago. She's one of those freshman players that slowly getting more playing time, and as the season progresses, she gets that much more confidence.
And well, the well went dry early in the ball game. It certainly has been giving freely here in the second quarter for Arlington. A 4-point lead with 5:25 to go. And let's run down some of the girls' brackets here and what we're facing today as far as action.
Yeah, as far as earlier today from the 4A girls, you mentioned that was the second place game, the last playoff spot or regional playoff spot, and Monroe squeaking one out over Lake Stevens, 46-45. Got to say, if I had a rooting interest in that game, maybe just slightly for Monroe, just for the fact that really they probably should have been in the championship game last week. They were up by 15 over Snohomish in the semifinal and lost their best player, Jaden Alexander, with about a minute to go in the half. After she went out, they got outscored by 22, and you don't want to see a team lose out on a chance to go to regionals because of an injury. So certainly for them to bounce back and to get Lake Stevens today, good for those ladies, and best of luck to them as they go on to the 4A regionals.
And Lake Stevens, the Vikings having a chance to go twice. They had two opportunities, lost to Snohomish 57-35 in the first one. And then coming back and losing today against Monroe.
Beautiful pass by Peyton Brown to Jayla Russ, by the way. Jayla Russ just cutting towards the basket, and freshman did not look like a ninth grader there. She looked like a senior as she found Russ in the perfect spot. And yeah, really that 4A tournament, we kind of all thought coming in it was a 3-team race. And sure enough, it was the 3 teams we suspected at the beginning. Lake Stevens ends up being the odd one out.
And in this bracket here, pretty much a 5-team race with only 4 left. And there's the 3 by Burdett, no good, so nothing can fall for Edmonds Woodway. They have come completely empty. And then Russ thought about a 3. Fife, you can see how she recognizes the threat. There's a long 3 by Brown, no. Not clear, and a foul call as both Russ and Ludwig went through Edmonds Woodway players for that rebound.
When you're a freshman and you're taking the 22, 23-foot shots, you know you're starting to feel your stroke and your confidence. That's a good sign for Arlington. Really, last game when we were watching the semifinals here, Peyton looked a little bit out of place. She looked like maybe the big stage was kind of getting to her. Again, only a freshman. The fact that she's playing with such confidence right now, that's a good sign if you're an Eagles fan.
Edmonds Woodway bringing it up against the pressure and almost a backcourt violation on Edmonds Woodway. Here's Casper now, tries to cross over on that left-hand side, and he'll bring it right to Moni Jackson. Gets the screen, now a dribble drive, has to dodge a big body in Russ and won't make the finish.
Yeah. Got by the first defender, and Russ just stepped in there rather nicely and forced her to put up a shot that's a much lower percentage than the one she was going to have.
Olivia Larson into the ball game now on the Arlington Eagles side of things. There's Brown, 3 ball. 20-11, the lead blossoming to 9 for Arlington, and another timeout as head coach Rebecca Wells wants to talk things over. Arlington has kept Edmonds Woodway scoreless through the first 4 minutes and 30 seconds of this quarter. And we'll take a timeout. It's a full one, 3:30 remaining in the second quarter of play. Arlington 20, Edmonds Woodway 11 on STSPN and the Sound Live.
Clogged drain or other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Unclogging most internal drains for just $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Welcome back. Second quarter of play, 3:30 remaining in the second quarter here at Jackson High School, Edmonds Woodway and Arlington. And after a 1-point lead heading into the first break, Edmonds Woodway has come up with a goose egg. And now trail 20-11. There's the little scoop shot by Moni Jackson, who has finally said, I do not want this season to end. She's got 5 points. And now the lead is 7.
I believe that was 11 straight points before that basket. That was something they really desperately needed. And sometimes baskets beget other baskets. We've noticed that before.
It is contagious. You get on a good shooting roll, and that's exactly what Edmonds Woodway did to start the game against the Golden Eagles of Ferndale up at Ferndale back on Thursday night. 31 points to start the quarter. There's Claire Fife, a beautiful entry by Burdett to find the 5'10 senior underneath. And Fife has 4 points. And now a mini run for Edmonds Woodway. There's the drive by Sarah Short and a travel violation. A little bit out of control heading down that left-hand side. You hear the oohs and ahs from the Arlington faithful. Did not like the call, but I think I agree with the ref.
I agreed with the ref as well. And you know, it's Short going into that lane there against Fife and a couple of the other big bodies. Probably not her best play to begin with.
Russell Wilson drops back for a pass to Curse and overshoots. Missy Peterson trying to run up the left-hand side. And Moni Jackson, a softball player, when she's not playing hoop. You can see she's got the
And much like Russell Wilson, she normally connects on those passes too. Not very often do you see her overshoot one of her receivers.
There's the long Brown three, back iron no. Peterson with the rip. Almost walk, coming up with it as an outstanding recognition by Larson to come back to the basketball. And now Jackson will bring it up between the wickets, top of the arc. Here's Peterson, shuffled her feet, called for the travel. Back into the ball game, Janosek and Balderas. Castaneda still in the corner on that right-hand side, along with Ludwig and Larson for the Eagles. And there is the Ludwig runner, no good. Peterson with the rebound, and now a foul call will go against Ludwig. Will be her second personal foul as Peterson is sandwiched underneath the rim. And not quite in the bonus. 5 team fouls for Edmonds Woodway, 4 for the Eagles. As back into the game now is Russ, replacing Ludwig, who will have to sit picking up those 2.
And Jayla having a huge tournament so far. The fact that they were able to take her out, give her a little bit of a rest, and really not lose much of the momentum, that's huge for the Eagles right now.
Well, it was interesting. Joe Marsh had her on the bench for the first 4.5 minutes of this one, going with speed over size against a very athletic Edmonds Woodway team. That time Claire Fife beats Russ over the top and cannot finish the bunny. Left-hand dribble, here's Larson right to the back iron, no. And Burdett tries to rip it down, and it'll go out of bounds back to Edmonds Woodway. I like the junior, 5'5", Olivia Larson is always around the basketball. It doesn't matter what kind of trees are in front of her. Always seems to be around the ball.
Playing with a lot of intensity. And you mentioned Russ a minute ago. She came off the bench in the Glacier Peak game too, and it's my understanding she's been doing that a lot more lately, trying to give them a spark plug off the bench late in the first quarter usually.
Janosek with a pick, and it deserves another on the other side as here comes Maddie Burdett. She'll dribble off her foot, stolen away there. 1:04 to go in the half. And Burdett comes up grabbing her knee. There's the long three. Bingo! Balderas with the 3. And now they'll take Burdett out as she heads to the bench. Woolley will come in with 53.3 seconds to go and an 8-point Arlington lead. Beasler will re-enter, replacing Balderas. So 4 3-pointers for Arlington so far through almost 2 quarters of basketball. They're not afraid.
Yeah, that's their MO. That's how they've been winning games all year, and when they get hot, look out.
Hard screen at the top. They'll give it to Claire Fife. Loses the handle. Now tries the wraparound dribble back to Jackson. She'll step into a 3. No, back iron. And Arlington fights over the basketball with 3:14 to go, but finally comes up with it. Long lead pass. Into the corner it goes. They leave it out. Left it short. That was Balderas with the shot. And now Missy Peterson will slow things down as they try to get the last second shot with 16 now. Shot clock is off. 12 on the game clock, and Woolley loses the handle to Janasek. Now a throw, beautiful no-look pass to Russ. Dribbles back, right-hand scoop shot, count it!
Talk about taking momentum into the half.
The last second shot turns into a gift for the Arlington Eagles after a no-look behind-the-back pass by Emma Janasek, who finds Jayla Brown, who runs the distance of the half and makes it a 10-point Arlington lead, 25-15, as we take a break on the Sound Live Sports Network and STSPN. A 10-point lead, 25-15, thanks to a 15-point second quarter output by the Arlington Eagles, led by Jayla Russ and Peyton Brown, who had 2 3 balls in the quarter to have 6 points. And now standing by with Steve Willits is Nick Brown, the head coach of the Arlington Eagles boys team, who also happens to know something about how Peyton Brown is good at launching the threes. He's down there right now.
Thanks, Keith. And once again, for the second time this week, we're talking to a man who's very busy today, much like you were earlier this week. This is Nick Brown, the head coach of the Arlington boys team, trying to get his team into regionals after this game. But while he's trying to prepare for that, he's also being a dad right now and trying to watch daughter Peyton play a little bit. Peyton with 2 threes in the first half, Nick. Looks like she's gaining a little more confidence playing in these district tournament games.
Yeah, I thought she struggled a little bit against Stanwood the other night. They put some pretty good pressure on her, and I just told her, you know, you got to be more aggressive and create your own shot. And I was watching on the way down on the internet. I was able to watch it on my phone, and so couldn't really tell very much. It looked like she had a good rhythm, and we left her alone a little bit. And I liked her pass to Jay and all of them, though. I thought that was a good assist.
Definitely spoken like a dad. Always likes to see teamwork. Speaking of teamwork, big game for you guys last night. You had an elimination game against Ferndale. Double overtime game. Tell us a little bit about that one. Kind of wild.
I don't even know what to say. It was one of those games where it was just a battle. You know, they ran some gimmick defenses on us, and we were prepared for that, but we hit some shots early, but then we went dry again, and they came storming back, and we had Nathan foul out, we had Jeremy foul out, Bishop, our big 6'8" kid, and Brendan Weirsman, our other post, and so we're playing with 5 guards, and you know, we just found a way to do it. And it was one of those games. I mean, it was pretty chaotic in the gym. I'm kind of in my little zone down there. I don't really pay attention to what's happening, but I did notice the craziness of the fans and the band and the students and the cheerleaders and the sports med and my wife and my kids, and it was pretty cool.
Now, for you guys, it seems like there's always a different player stepping up. I know Ani's had a couple of big games this year in which he's hit game winners, I think against Mariner and Edmonds Woodway. Bishop had a huge night against Shorewood. Donnie Selgren's been the hero a few times, but last night, Tyler Morton steps up and gets the game winner with 2 seconds to go.
Yeah, Tyler Morton, he had a few goofy plays right before that. He came out and saved the day. It was pretty cool for him. I was real happy for him. He got a little down on himself, and he was a little frustrated, but then he came back and made the play when he needed to. And that was not the first time. We did it against Snohomish, too, where he hit a shot at the buzzer. So that was really neat for him, and I was real proud of him. And, he's just a spark plug, a little fire plug. He just gets out there and just goes nuts and has fun, and he's a competitor. Every day in practice, even when we're doing walkthrough, he's going full speed. We got to slow him down a little bit sometimes. He's fun to watch and fun to play.
Now, speaking of exciting games and games that come right down to the wire, you had 2 games this year against Marysville-Pilchuck, one of which made Sports Center when Cole Grindy tipped it in at the buzzer to beat you guys. Not a great memory, I know. And then the other one was an overtime game against Marysville-Pilchuck. And that was a game which Ani had a chance to get a game winner, and Heckendorf blocked his shot. Every time you guys play, it seems to come down to the wire. Do we expect anything differently here today?
No, I think it's about the same thing. Barry's just done a great job of building that program up, and they had some down years, but Barry stuck with it and stick to his vision, and here they are, and they're playing for for a chance to go to regionals, and they've had a tough year, obviously, with the shooting and all that, and so it's been emotional for them, and we're happy that they're being able to bounce back and really do a good job, but we're here to battle, and I'm sure they're going to be here to battle too, and it's going to be. I just think it's going to go down to the wire. I feel like that.
And I feel like whenever I hear you guys talk about one another, whether it's you and Barry, your players, either in newspaper articles or on Twitter, a lot of compliments towards one another. It seems to be a lot of mutual respect. Talk about the rivalry a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. And even with Zach too from Stanwood, we just all have a lot of respect for each other. We've known each other a long time. I've actually old enough to have coached against those guys. So, it's fun. Barry's like I said, he's done a good job, and Marysville and Arlington it's kind of nice to get that rivalry back going back to the 3As. I'll tell you what, though, this league is tough. The 3As are tough. People say, are you excited about going back down? Yeah, for the competition, but it's not been easier. And, Barry, those kids, they battle hard. Our kids have known their kids their whole lives, and they've been playing AAU together and against each other. And here we are now playing for a chance to go to regionals, and we're real excited. I know they're going to bring it, and we're going to hopefully bring it too.
So big game today. That comes up right after this one at 4:15. It's Arlington. It's Marysville-Pilchuck. Loser goes home for the season. The winner goes on to regionals. But before that, we've got 16 more minutes here. So, Nick, could be an interesting household tonight for you guys. You might be celebrating 2 teams going on to regionals. Could be 0 or somewhere in between. But you're hoping Peyton can get it done here in the second half, and then you guys can go on.
That's the plan. We'd like to have that happen. It'll be great. It'd be a nice win-win. It'd be cool.
All right, well, hey, always appreciate your time. Best of luck to you.
You guys do a great job, and thanks for getting this going. This is really cool.
Absolutely. Our pleasure. Hey, so that's Nick Brown, the head coach of the Arlington boys team. Once again, you are watching the Action Jackson Plumbing halftime report right here on STSPN and SoundlightSportsNetwork.com. Back to you, Keith Nealy.
Thank you, Steve. And that double overtime game, 66-64, Arlington over Ferndale. And then on the other side of things, Marysville-Pilchuck winners over Shorewood 74-67. That's where they end up here at the 4:15 game, Arlington, Marysville-Pilchuck. And Steve Willits will have the call with you the whole direction on, of course, later in the evening, 8 p.m., Glacier Peak boys will play the Stanwood boys for the first and second place. Both those teams guaranteed to go to the regional playoffs, and which is Glacier Peak 2-0 last year, are looking to get back to the regional playoffs. And the girls 3A side of things, of course, you're watching the play-in game. If it were the last remaining berth, the number 3 seed out of the District 1 3A girls, and right now Arlington has the 10-point advantage, but a lot of basketball yet to be played. 6 p.m. the championship game, Linwood and the Glacier Peak Grizzly girls. So Glacier Peak should have quite the rooting section with both the boys and the girls teams playing in back-to-back ball games. Linwood, of course, the number 1 team, ranked team in the state of Washington. Glacier Peak right behind them at number 4. That should be one whale of a ball game. And they've met before, and Glacier Peak got one, Linwood got one.
Yeah, and certainly when those two teams play, you never know what's going to happen. I think if you would have asked me 3 weeks ago who I thought was going to win this district tournament, I would have said Linwood in a landslide. Then after watching that Glacier Peak victory over Linwood just a few weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, boy, I'll tell you, Glacier Peak, I've watched them all season long, and they just continue to get better and better. If there's a team that's peaking right now, it's them. And certainly Linwood, what more can you say about them? They finished 3rd in state last year, didn't lose a whole lot. and they're a team that's continued to get better themselves. So really, two teams that I think, boy, depending on how the brackets get drawn out, of course they have to win a regional game first, but would it surprise me if come March 8th or 9th or whatever the Saturday falls on, if those two teams are playing each other in a state final? Not at all. I mean, those are two of the best, if not the two best teams in the state right now. It's going to be a heck of a game tonight.
It's going to be a great ball game, and I have to remind you that Glacier Peak is the only 3A team from last season to be in the Final Four teams here today. So remember, Arlington came down from the 4A, Edmonds Woodway coming down from the 4A, and Linwood coming down for the 4A. And Linwood won the district championship last year against Mount Lake Terrace, 53-52. They've had 4 straight looks at a championship and find themselves, even though it got crowded all of a sudden, they find themselves right back there again. Brian Hill has to be very happy about his program.
No, absolutely. I think the biggest key going into this tournament was just coming out of it. And really, I think, certainly don't get me wrong, if you're either of those two teams, you want to cut the net down today. You want to put that banner up in your gym. But really, when you looked at it, and to be honest, I think it was a 6-team tournament coming into this thing. I mean, Ferndale comes down. Stanwood had a great year this year, too. Yep. And then the 4 teams that are left, any of those 6 teams out of the 8 that came into this tournament had a viable shot at getting to the regional, and 2 teams have already punched their ticket.
We'll take a break here on the Sound Live Sports Network quickly as they get set to step on the floor to start the third quarter. We'll be back on the Action Jackson halftime.
Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Unclogging most internal drains for just $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Arlington will inbound the ball to start things off. Same starters on both teams coming in here to the third quarter of play. Castaneda off to Janasek, tries to get a screen from Ludwig, asked for it, but it didn't come. Now Castaneda will dribble drive left-hand side, draws some traffic. And now Balderas will dribble into the trees, off the iron, no good. Here's Missy Peterson, who's been very active on the glass for Edmonds Woodway, but is saddled a little bit there in that second quarter of play with 2 fouls. Now they get it into Peterson, long pass, too hard.
Points are coming at a premium right now. When you have an open look like that, you need to hit those. And it may not hurt you right now, but certainly as this game goes on, Edmonds Woodway's room for error is going to be decreasing very quickly.
And they've missed a few. Fife has missed a couple down underneath. Casper missed a few, and there's a foul call. Ludwig heading in against the outstretched arms of Claire Fife. Fife will be called for her second personal foul. Jessica Ludwig, who split a pair of free throws early in the ball game, has 3 points and heads to the free throw line. E-Dub has yet to shoot a free throw today. Arlington, after that miss, is 3 for 5. Just underway here at Jackson High School. And it settles in. 4 points for Ludwig.
You know, Keith, so often when you see a team fall behind by 11 in the second half, you start to think the game's over. These two teams, Edmonds Woodway in particular, the way they put up offensive numbers at times, they're a streaky team. If they can get going, 11 points can be dwindled down to 0 in no time.
The way they shoot the ball.
You're going to have to do better than that, though.
And there is a turnover, and almost another turnover. And possession basketball, when you start getting into these half-court sets, the clock spins pretty fast. You're going to have to be careful about giving up easy opportunities. Just like that, Gracie Castaneda took the words out of my mouth, Steve.
Yeah, on cue, Castaneda cutting open, and who was that? I believe that was Janasek that found her cutting across the middle there and hit her in stride. Easy layup.
Out to Casper. Has Peterson on her left. We'll give it up to Peterson, who spins in, gets close to the cup, left-hand spinner, and a layup. Peterson has 8 points to lead the Warriors, and now a turnover heading the other way.
Yeah, and the fact that Peterson has all but 9 of your points and we're 6:14 to go in the third quarter, that's not a good sign for Edmonds Woodway. You certainly need to get some of these other players involved as well.
6:08 to go now, down into the corner to Casper. Bounce pass underneath the Fife, hits the iron. That's 2 now she's missed from that range, and bounce out to a long 3 for Burdett, and an offensive foul will go against Fife. That'll be 3. and perhaps frustrated that she can't put the round thing in the rim.
Just an all-around bad possession for Edmonds Woodway. You had 2 good looks, Fife right underneath the hoop, Burdette, who's an incredible three-point shooter at times. Neither one can make it, and then Fife picks up her 3rd foul, and she's one of the players, like you mentioned earlier, can't afford to get her in foul trouble.
Janosek, out top it goes to Balderas. Down in the corner, they dump it underneath. There's Ludwig, spins in, has a double team, but fighting for that rebound as she has constantly since this ball game tipped off. Your rebound machine trying to find another offensive one. There's Woolley down into Peterson, found the mismatch, but can't hit the left-hand lay-in. Here comes Ludwig the other way, almost a little stutter step, got away with it, and now a foul call. That should go against the Eagles. And will it go against Ludwig, though? No, Beasler with the foul. Had it been against Ludwig, it'll been her 3rd. Long lead pass now to Peterson. That time they connected, and down it goes. Peterson from the rope, the frozen rope of Moni Jackson.
I think that's when Edmonds Woodway's at their best right there. Moni with the inbound pass, just waits for one of her players to break open, and beautifully done. It's like hitting a football player in stride on a deep pass.
Lead him just a little bit. And there's Ludwig with a travel. Got a little happy. Saw Janosek trying to cut around the backside and maybe was looking to dump that off. Got a little ahead of herself there. Yeah. 5:01 to go 3rd quarter, 28-19 Arlington.
This is a big opportunity here for Edmonds Woodway. If they can get a basket here, maybe get 4 or 5 points in a row, keep Arlington within striking distance.
Watching Balderas on a man-to-man pressure on Moni Jackson, and it almost looks like it was understood from head coach Joe Marsh that you're going to take Jackson out of this ball game as best you can.
Yeah, and that's really what Balderas is in there for. She's given up a little bit of size on Moni, but she does have the quickness, and we've seen other players who don't have that speed just get burned by Moni time and time again, and give Balderas a lot of credit. She's not necessarily doing a lot offensively, but she's getting it done on the defense.
Beasler picks up foul number 2 and sends Natalie Casper to the line, who misses the free throw but gets the first. She's got 1 point. That trip to the free throw line brought to you by our From the Stripe sponsor, Edmonds Sports Academy. And now back into a slow down set with an 8-point lead and a timeout by Joe Marsh on the floor with 4:32 to go. We'll take a timeout ourselves here on the Sound Live Sports Network and STSPN. 28-20, Arlington on top of Edmonds Woodway.
Shoreline Community College and Puget Sound Auto Dealers Association have been recognized internationally for its pioneering in finding a new way to deliver technical training for automotive repair.
Arlington will inbound the ball right in front of their bench after the timeout. Edmonds Woodway into man-to-man pressure. Balderas looking in, trying to find a back-cutting Castaneda. Finally gives it to her out on the rim. Almost lost the handle with heavy pressure by Casper, and then fires up a nothing shot. Not quite the half-court offense that Joe Marsh was looking for there. Now they'll give it over to Casper. Into the double team, back to Peterson. 3 on the way, short. Burdette rushes in for the rebound. They'll find Peterson underneath, and now a foul on Jayla Russ as she comes barreling in from the top of the key to try to pick up the loose ball. Now they will, yeah, it is against Russ. First personal foul. Short, Brown, and Ludwig back into the game for Arlington.
A little bit of a perimeter platoon there as 3 players coming in all at once, giving them a little more quickness and certainly some fresh legs. All 3 players have been on the bench since before the half.
Bakken enters for Edmonds Woodway. And now Burdette trying to find anybody to pass it to, and a purple jersey will finally inbound. Here's Casper, hustles in left side, back to Peterson. Now Burdette has Janosek guarding. Back to Peterson, has to turn on a double team, kick out to Bakken. Now 16 on the shot clock. Down underneath to Peterson, finally Casper, long 3 on the way, launches it, good! Natalie Casper, her first field goal of the afternoon, and it comes in a big way, putting them down only 5 points as Moni Jackson now picks up the foul on active hands against Janosek, top of the key.
We've seen Casper have some huge games this year too, and that might be the spark plug that she needed to get her going.
17 points a night, 2 nights ago against the Ferndale squad. Now here's Russ. Gets it partially blocked by Bach, and now a 3-on-2 break. Peterson will swoop up over the right-hand side, no good. Tip back out. Janosek with the offensive or defensive glass.
Peterson had the right idea there. I think as she went up to elevate, the ball just slipped out of her hands just a bit. Tried to tip it into the cylinder there, but it was too late at that point.
Now Jackson and Janosek, that's a battle.
Yeah, neither one of them giving right now.
Russ looking in, won't find it. Kick out to Janosek, 3, no. Peterson with the rebound. Here comes the Edmonds Woodway. They really could use a bucket. Here's Casper, 3, got another! Boom, down it goes, and Casper 7 points, 2 triples.
Just talked about how they can wipe out an 11-point lead pretty quickly. It's already down to 2.
After 25 points in a 15-point second quarter, Arlington has only been able to manage 3 here in the third, and it's only a 2-point lead, 28-26. That goes against Jackson, that foul off the ball.
You wouldn't know it by looking at the scoreboard, but looking at the faces of some of these girls right now, they are really getting tired. They're leaving it all out on the court, and they still have 8.5 minutes to play.
Russ with a 3, beautiful backspin, count it. Jayla Russ has 12 points and 2 long balls. And it's back to a 5-point lead.
Just what Arlington needed to kill the momentum there that Edmonds Woodway had going.
Bakken to Peterson. Out to Burdett, has yet to score. Erase that comment. Another 3 for Maddie Burdett. And it's again a 31-29 point lead. It's back to 2, Steve.
You might be able to keep Casper and Burdett down for a little while, but you know at some point they're going to get their shots to fall, and here we go in the third quarter.
Just under 2 minutes to play third quarter. Janosek to Russ. Left-hand side, dribble into the key. They try to skip a pass by. It hits the shoulder of Sarah Short, but the rebound goes right to Brown. And now a foul call on the Jayla Russ dribble drive with the right hand. And we'll send her to the free throw line. And that goes against Bakken, her first personal. 5th team foul on Edmonds Woodway.
Well, nice job by Russ to get by Bakken, and nice job by Bakken knowing that Russ had an easy layup to make her earn it.
And it's it. And we talked about her skill set and how she's as good a post player as you need on an Arlington team like this, but almost find her outside around the perimeter more than you do in the block.
Jayla's a junior, and she started for Arlington in the championship game, state championship game 2 years ago as a freshman. Big reason why they got there.
Missed that rebound, but right back up with it is the Jessica Ludwig shot that's just long. And now Moni Jackson spins in traffic, tries to dump down underneath to Peterson, and a foul on the floor will be out of bounds. Only the 4th team foul on the Eagles.
Out of control.
That is Jayla Russ's 2nd personal foul. And Edub with another opportunity to try to tie this thing up, and it goes right in and out of the hands of Moni Jackson to Maddie Burdett. And you don't want to waste too many of those opportunities.
No, and you know when Maddie gets a chance to spot up and shoot, she can be on, and right there, she didn't have a defender within 4 or 5 feet of her. She catches that ball, she might get the open look at a 3.
Into Russ, hand right back to Brown. No, she'll keep it herself on the play action fake. Russ turns and spins a 15-footer. Down it goes. Russ leading all scorers now with 15 points.
We mentioned it earlier. She can do it inside and out. Apparently in between as well.
There's Burdett. Hauled in along the end line by Olivia Larson. And now into some traffic she'll run, tries to get rid of it. Finally, we'll just turn it over. Here's Moni Jackson. Feeds the pass to Casper, runs in right side, and a blocking foul. And that's one of those that can go either way. And Casper will head to the free throw line.
It can go either way, but at that time, Ludwig just had a little bit too much foot motion going on and took a little bit of a hop step back as she made the contact with Casper. I think if she just plants herself, she gets the charge.
And that'll be Ludwig's third personal foul, substituting now Castaneda. And they will send Ludwig to the bench. Balderas will enter for Larson. First free throw was good by Casper. As now we're just free throws and steady substitutions from both sides.
Make the Edmonds Sports Academy happy, right?
Edmonds Sports Academy, our From the Stripe sponsor throughout the season and into postseason. Casper hits both. She's 3 for 4 from the free throw line, and the lead back to 3. Here's Arlington, and a travel violation as Castaneda could not come up with it. And Joe Marsh not happy at all, thought she was pushed.
An interesting game right now. So 3-point game, 37 seconds left. Both teams with 5 team fouls. It might come down to who's the better free throw shooting team here in the fourth quarter.
Short man-to-man pressure on Jackson. Now it goes right-hand side. It's Casper being guarded by Castaneda. Both teams very good man-to-man defense. Here's Woolley, Jackson, and now Missy Peterson will take it into some traffic, puts it up, and an offensive foul on Peterson. That will be her third. Had the undersized Balderas underneath her, and whether she knew she was there or not, Missy Peterson ran right into the thicket.
Peterson's listed at 5'10", Balderas is listed at 5 foot even, giving up 10 inches there, and got to give Serafina a lot of credit for standing her ground on that one. That's a much taller player that you're going up against there and taking one for the team.
13.3 seconds, full court man-to-man pressure by Edmonds Woodway. 3-point Arlington lead. They'll get it in. Here's Janasek. On the left-hand side, it goes Brown. And now they'll eat up clock. 7, now 5. Janasek has to get rid of it. Here's Russ. They'll kick it out to Brown. Steps back, 3 on the way. Back iron, no. But a good look for the freshman to try to make it number 3 from downtown. And Edmonds Woodway comes crawling back. Then they make it a 3-point ball game, 34-31. We'll take a break on the Sound Live Sports Network and ST.
We all want to protect our gift of sight, which is why regular eye exams are so important. Regular eye exams not only allow your optometrist to improve the quality of your vision by changing the prescription of your glasses or contact lenses, but also to assess your overall eye health. Even if you see clearly now, it does not mean your eyes are healthy or won't change over time.
One final frame of 8 minutes to play here in Mill Creek. The winner on to the regional tournament and the state tournament. The loser is done. Each one of these teams that remain in 3A Girls Wesco have had themselves in the state rankings in the top 10 at one point in time in this season. And right now you've got the 6th ranked Arlington Eagles and the unranked Edmonds Woodway Warriors.
And you play almost 100 quarters of basketball over the course of the season, and it's going to come down to this one quarter in less than 8 minutes.
Kick ball as Moni Jackson draws the double team. Had the streaking Missy Peterson down the right-hand side. And they'll get the ball back.
Jayla Rush showing some soccer skills there. Yeah, it resets the shot clock, but she prevented an easy layup.
Peterson back to Burdett. Short corner jump shot. Bingo. Maddie Burdett with 5 points, and it is a 1-point Arlington lead right now as we just 30 seconds gone by in the fourth quarter.
Memory serves me correctly, this is right about the time where Maddie got hot last time these two teams played. Big fourth quarter and overtime.
Janasek looks in on Jackson. There's the 3 and a long one. Left that one short. Burdett got pushed just a bit. Kicks it in off of Janasek out of bounds. But was off balance trying to just find any way to throw it in. And that's danger when you're underneath the opposing team's hoop.
Yeah, if Janasek catches that ball, nobody in front of her, easy layup.
Just fell off her fingertips, and now long man-to-man pressure. They'll get it into Moni Jackson. Janasek guarding her with 7 minutes to play, and down 1. Here comes Edmonds Woodway. Casper asking for help. We'll find it in Burdett. Wraps around her back, now to Peterson. Step back, kicks out to Casper. Thought about a 3, withdrew. Now a dribble drive, short corner jump shot. Left that one short. Russ with the rebound.
Casper had the right idea. Nice spin move to get herself open, just left the shot short.
And these two teams used to throwing up a lot of points, and right now, be lucky to crack 40. Russ spins in, had a body on her, and now Moni Jackson has Casper. There she is, left-hand side, stopping a pop. No, Fife right back there will kiss off the glass. And picks up the rebound, and Edmonds Woodway with her first lead since midway in the second quarter.
Fife really should get credit for the defensive stop on the other side. She forced Russ into a bad shot, then she gets the offensive board on the other end.
Janasek takes the lead back in one possession, her first bucket of the game, and it comes with 6 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. Underneath to Fife, loses the handle. Now the kick out to Jackson, 3 on the way. No, back iron. And Peterson able to just keep it alive. Will get the ball back, 3 on the way from the sophomore, in and out. And the anxiety heightens just a little bit. You can just feel the pressure in the crowd, and you can see it on the court.
You think Gracie Castaneda wants to play after this today? She's a couple of steals there on both ends, and then a nice defensive rebound to get the Arlington offense back to this side of the floor. She wants to make the regionals.
Ludwig takes the entry pass from Russ, throws it up over her shoulder, and Moni Jackson knocks it clear. And wanted the rebound and won't get it. Referee right there had good eyes on it. And Edmonds Woodway now will go into a zone. And they leave one open. Now here's Russ. 3, no. Badly missed. Burdette has her pocket picked by Beasler. Beasler coming the other way. Into Russ. And finally gets to the rack. No, Fife with the rebound. And now we've got a foul on Jayla Russ. And Joe Marsh not pleased one bit.
No, and I think Marsh wanting to call there as Russ was spinning away from 2 defenders, had to finally force a ball up, and couldn't tell it from here whether or not the Edmonds Woodway players were tying her up or if there was some contact. I know she has one opinion, the referees have another, and referees usually win in that instance.
And traditionally, a lot more is left on the court as far as physical play at the district games. There's Missy Peterson, settles one in, and it goes back to a 1-point Edmonds Woodway lead, 37-36 with 4:40 to go. Peterson with 12.
Played 3 minutes and 20 seconds into this quarter, and I think we've already had 4 lead changes. I don't think we're done yet.
Here's Jayla Russ, spins up on Fife, and that one off the glass high and comes straight back down. 17 points for Jayla Russ. Her average is only 8.7. Better than twice eclipsed that today.
I mean, we know she's had big games before. She is certainly one of those players where it doesn't shock you when she does hit that 20-point mark, and she might be doing that.
Moni Jackson heads in down the lane. And a foul will go against Jayla Russ, her 4th personal foul. Jackson to the free throw line, brought to you by our From the Stripe sponsor, Edmonds Sports Academy. No on free throw number 1.
Smart move here on Joe Marsh's part for 2 reasons, really. He's pulling Jayla Russ out. Number 1, she has the 4 fouls on her. Number 2, she's definitely looking a little bit tired. The one thing he's got to be concerned about, it's Edmonds Woodway starting to take a little bit of momentum here the last couple times down the court. He's got to kind of keep things steady while they give Jayla a little chance to catch her breath.
Moni Jackson a chance to tie or go ahead, misses both free throws, and now Arlington with the 1-point lead, 38-37 with just under 4 minutes to play. Top of the key, Brown, that one way off, air ball. Last 2 trips, 2 air balls for the Eagles. Russ had one badly missed. Now out to Casper, hits the referee and wanted to make sure she stepped in bounds.
Good for her to keep her composure. That could have easily been a turnover.
Burdette to Casper, that one short. Great block out by Castaneda. She'll come away with the rebound. My goodness. Playoff basketball against 2 of the best in the state. And only one of them gets to continue on after this. Pump fake. Right hand. Got it. Jessica Ludwig. 6 points tonight. And got 2 right there when it counted. 3-point Arlington lead.
Froze Fife right at the top of the key and just drove right by her. Easy basket.
Claire Fife diving on the ground. That'll be tied up on the pass, trying to find Missy Peterson on the pick and roll. And Arlington will get it back. Russ back into the ball game.
And Castaneda once again playing solid defense. She forced that turnover.
And now a 30-second timeout. And we will stay right here on STSPN and the Sound Live Sports Network. Again, the rundown after this. Directly after this ball game, Steve, you've got the call on the 4:15 Arlington-Marysville-Pilchuck boys game.
Yeah, and if only I had a game with two teams that were a little more evenly matched, right? Those are
Comes down to the bucket at the very end, Sports Center style, every single time they match up.
And that's not a joke. They literally made Sports Center on the first game of the year. Colt Grindy tipping in a shot at the buzzer to beat Arlington on a missed shot by Bryce Juneau. And then the very next time out, they go into overtime. So now they get to meet each other again, and this time it's much like the game we're watching right now. One team's going to win and move to regionals. Other team's season is coming to an end.
Now that game 4:15, the game directly after that is the girls' championship game between Linwood and Glacier Peak at 6 p.m. and then 8 o'clock p.m. The Glacier Peak boys and Stanwood girls will lock horns in the marquee, and a turnover gives the ball back to Edmonds Woodway with 2:47 remaining. Jump ball, rather.
8 o'clock p.m.
3-point deficit now. Moni Jackson will bring the ball up over to Casper. Back to Jackson. Left-hand side, got a little wriggle room. Almost a fifth foul on Russ. Now a kick out to Casper, in and out, no good. Burdette with the rebound. They'll reload. Here's Missy Peterson, 3 on the way. And yes! Peterson drops another dagger from downtown. 40-40. We're knotted up with 2:14 to play.
Peterson coming through in the clutch, and Burdette doing a nice job to keep her head up and looking for the open player.
Dump down underneath, no good. And Jackson will bring it in. Stolen away there. Arlington has a chance to reload the half-court offense and take some time off. 40-40 with a $1:52 to go. Winner goes on. Loser goes home. Underneath to Russ, calling it the entire way. Fife, great defense once again, no call. Here comes Edmonds Woodway.
32 minutes wasn't enough time last time these two teams played. We might be heading back to overtime here. Going to find out in the next 91 seconds.
Jackson wants Casper in the corner. Very well guarded over there by Balderas. Now Casper once again will dribble drive, get some traffic with a little runner off the glass. Count it! Natalie Casper has been all second half. She's got 11.
Beautiful floater, 13 feet out of the lane, just floats in there, throws it up against the backboard, puts him in the lead.
We've got a timeout on the floor with 1:12 to go. Edmonds Woodway with a 2-point lead, 42-40. We'll take one here on the Sound Live Sports Network and STSPN. Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com. Welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network and STSPN. Steve Willits and Keith Nealy. And boy, we've watched a lot of basketball this week, Steve, and it just keeps on giving to us. This is a fabulous ball game against two very evenly matched teams.
This is the district tournament everybody was waiting for, and only fitting it comes down to this.
Maddie Burdette reaches down and kicks one away. It'll reset the 30-second clock, and 1:02 to go now. Each team guaranteed a possession after the kick ball. Castaneda will inbound. Goes the long way. Now back out to Russ. Nobody guarding. Long three. In and out. Knocked away by Peterson, and Fife will bring it in, and a foul call as Castaneda will foul Fife, who will head to the free throw line.
Great hustle by Castaneda. She just lost her body control a little bit. Took her right into Claire Fife, and Fife's going to go to the line, shooting the 1-and-1.
Edmonds Woodway had not attempted a free throw prior to this half. And now 5 steps to the free throw stripe. She has not had an opportunity today. There's the 1-on-1, buries it. Edmonds Woodway, 4 for 7 from the line today. Misses that one. And now a tie-up underneath. Finally, Edmonds Woodway will relinquish the basketball. Down 3 come the Arlington Eagles. 46 seconds to go. Castaneda.
They don't need a 3 here either. They've got plenty of time.
There's Russ trying to find the inside pass to Ludwig. And now off the glass, no good. Burdett with it. Wraps around the back and a foul call. No, a timeout on the floor with 29.9 seconds to go. Rebecca Wells for Edmonds Woodway. Head coach calls timeout. E-Dub did not lead after the first quarter of play until about 4 minutes ago.
And we mentioned it early third quarter. I mean, and we've seen games like this all season long at the 3A level, especially amongst the top teams. One of them gets a lead of 10 points or more, and the other team just marches right back. There's so much poise between all the girls on both teams, and not only them, but really Glacier Peak and Linwood. It's kind of been their MO all season long. Just stick to the course, know your game plan, trust what you're able to do, and just stay in the ball game. And that's what Edmonds Woodway did. They looked like for a while there, early third quarter, momentum was completely one-sided. They didn't have anything going. We're having trouble getting things going offensively. Couldn't buy a bucket. And now here they are with a 3-point lead.
They will inbound the ball in front of Arlington's basket with 29.9 seconds to go and a 3-point lead. Arlington with full court man-to-man pressure now. Will put one back after the bullet pass from Moni Jackson. And they'll get it into Burdett. Burdett, one of the better free throw shooters on the Edmonds Woodway team, will find a Gracie Castaneda foul to send her there. Maddie Burdett has not shot a free throw yet. Of course, brought to you by our From the Stripe sponsor, Edmonds Sports Academy.
Maddie Burdett, she's not exactly not a bad player to have at the free throw line when you need a clutch free throw, right? She shot a few of these in her time.
Has done this once or twice. 28.5 seconds to go. A good foul by Arlington to only allow 3 seconds to go off the clock there on that inbound. It is a 1-and-1 opportunity now. And Maddie Burdett misses it.
And Peyton Brown has the ball, and she's the 3-point shooter.
Brown back to Janosek, being guarded by Jackson. They go in to Ludwig. Back out top. There's a long Ludwig 3. Got it!
Joe Marsh is going nuts. He loves it. NBA three-pointer at that.
That went from well beyond the arc. 23-footer right to the bottom of the cup, and we are tied 43-43 with 9 seconds to go.
I was getting ready to give you my analysis as to why that was not the shot they wanted. There was plenty of time left on the clock. You have so many three-point shooters on the floor. Why take a 23 or 24-footer with, 13, 14 seconds remaining when it left her hands? And Ludwig just steps up there and stone cold drains it.
12 seconds now after they adjust the clock. They put 3 seconds back on the clock from 9 to 12. Shot clock, of course, is off. 43-43. Edmonds Woodway has the basketball, but just like the last possession, will have to inbound. And you're probably going to get them letting the ball come in this time rather than the quick foul.
Well, keep in mind, Arlington right now has 9 team fouls. The next one puts Edmonds Woodway into double bonus. Edmonds Woodway no longer has the pressure of a 1-and-1 situation. You cannot put them at the foul line. You're going to give them 2 attempts, essentially, of probably winning the ball game.
Maddie Burdett missed the front end of a 1-on-1 in order to put Arlington right here. Here's Jackson, 8, 6, 5. Here's Peterson off the back iron, no good. And that will be the end of the first regulation.
Oh!
That would not have
not
gone.
Counted, you're right.
Had it been off on time, it would have not gone either. So no matter how you look at it, we're going to overtime.
Second time this year between these two.
Bonus basketball on STSPN and the Sound Live Sports Network. We'll keep it right here as we head to OT in regulation, 43 points apiece. Edmonds Woodway had the chance to ice it with free throws and couldn't get it done. Back on January 7th, similar circumstances, Edmonds Woodway came away with an 81-79 win up at Arlington High School in overtime. So both these teams have been here, but this is the one that counts.
Yeah, that game, I think, obviously a good way for each team to kind of see what the other one's all about. But tonight the losing team doesn't have another chance to play on Tuesday or Friday of next week. You lose this game and your season comes to an abrupt end, and boy, you're going to have to feel for whichever team takes fourth place in this tournament, because they certainly have done all they can to deserve to move on to that next round. Unfortunately, there's only one spot.
4 minutes in the overtime period, both coaches with 2 timeouts apiece. Both teams in the bonus. Edmonds Woodway will be in the double bonus on the next foul by Arlington. Peterson and Ludwig jumping center.
Jayla Russ still in there with 4 fouls too. Keep an eye on number 31 for Arlington.
And in it goes to Fife on the opening possession. Edmonds Woodway will bring it into the front court. There's Casper to Peterson. Peterson missing the runner at the buzzer. And now left hand spinning in, 15-footer off that one left-hand side. And out on it is Janasek. Tries the wraparound pass, now the numbers. Here comes Arlington. Someone's gonna have to pick up Jessica Ludwig. Off the glass, no, gets her own rebound. Fighting, and back up it goes. 2 in the overtime period.
Ludwig with her confidence now after hitting that 3, and you could see that she was just determined not to be denied. Missed the shot and just immediately went up and got her own offensive board, and then went back up for the second shot.
Here comes Moni Jackson. Has it stripped away by Russ. And now Janasek will bring it up. 3 minutes to go, 1 minute gone by in the overtime period, 2-point lead. Janasek has it stripped away, and that will be the second foul on Natalie Casper.
Impressed with what Russ is doing out there too. For the second time since after picking up her 4th foul, she's waited until Moni Jackson has gotten around her defender on the perimeter, and as soon as we think Moni has an easy layup, Russ flies out of nowhere to block the shot, and every time she's doing it, she's risking picking up that 5th foul.
Free throw is good by Janasek to make it a 3-point lead now, 46-43 with 2:55 to go in the overtime. Missed that one, Fife with the rebound. So here comes Edmonds Woodway. You don't have to have a bucket here, but you don't want to let the lead expand to the point where you can't recover either. Here's Fife into Casper, pump fake. Edmonds Woodway, they're thinking about the 3. They want the opportunity on the outside. Here's Jackson.
I like the patience though. They're not taking it if they don't have it.
Underneath it goes to Claire Fife on the bounce pass. Reset this 30-second clock. They took almost 30 seconds off on that possession. Only 2:26 to go now in the first overtime. Back to Peterson, wraps around, tough shot off the glass, no good. It's Ludwig with the rebound, the hero that keeps Arlington even here with the big 3 in regulation, and that a foul call on Casper will be her 3rd, and back to the line goes Arlington.
Castaneda establishing her ground there and getting by Casper, and Natalie trying to stop her, just reaches in there and catches part of the arm, and it's going to send Gracie to the line for 1-and-1.
And a timeout on the floor. We'll take a quick break on STSPN and the Sound Live Sports Network. We're in overtime. 3-point Arlington lead, 46. Edmonds Woodway is 4 for 9 from the free throw line tonight, including a big one-on-one miss by Maddie Burdett to let it get this close. Arlington Eagles 50%, 6 for 12, not much better, and it really is a free throw game right now.
They're both in the bonus, both shooting 1 and 1 right now.
Castaneda hits the first.
We talked about it during the break. The one thing we have to keep going back to with these two teams, when it's mathematically possible, it's not over until it's over.
Castaneda hits them both, and it's now a 5-point Arlington lead. Missy Peterson drops the ball off to Jackson with 2:11 to go. Edmonds Woodway yet to score in the overtime. Here's Peterson, kick out to Fife. Fife can hit him too. Now here comes Casper. A little spin move, catches the side of the rim and rolls right around and in, 48-45.
Clutch basket there by her. If she doesn't get that one to go, Arlington's looking at maybe going up by 6, 7, or 8 points on this possession. Natalie had to hit that one, and when she needs it, she's on.
Arlington will drop it into Ludwig. Trying to find Russ, now will dribble in, and off the glass it goes. Jessica Ludwig has 4 points in the overtime period. And it's back to a 5-point lead with 1:25 to go. Here's Burdett. Tried to get it into Fife. She'll bounce down, and a foul on Russ will be her final 5th foul.
And that is exactly what Arlington did not want. Jayla Russ fouling out with 1:17 to go, and she had her position on Fife. Should have stood her ground a little bit harder, or maybe backed up and forced Claire to shoot a difficult shot. Instead, she reaches in there and sends her to the line for 2, and even worse, she fouls herself out.
So she sits down with 17 points to end the ball game, at least her night. Claire Fife at the free throw line is 1 for 2 today, and will shoot 2. Down 5 with 1:17 to go. Got the first.
Jayla Russ is 6 feet tall. They just replaced her with Sarah Short,
who is
shorter than Russ at 5'6", so certainly giving up 6 inches there with that substitution. We'll see if Edmonds Woodway can take advantage of it in this last 77 seconds of the overtime.
Second free throw is good. It's a 3-point ball game. Arlington with a rock. In the man-to-man pressure goes Edmonds Woodway. There's a pump fake. Here goes Castaneda. Got it! An explosive first step and the right-handed lay-in. Here's Maddie Burdett the other way. Don't count them out. 52-50 with 52 seconds to go. Jackson comes out. Here is Castaneda. Short to Janosek. Dribbles in, has to find somebody. Al will scoop one up off the glass. Peterson rips down the rebound. Here she comes. And a foul called on Janosek as she came in to pick the pocket of Missy Peterson, and I'm not sure I like that call.
Yeah, interesting play by Janosek. I think she initially thought she had an open lane right to that basketball. She was trying to sneak up along Missy's right-hand side, and in the process makes contact. And yeah, with a 2-point lead, you are putting Missy Peterson on the line for 2 free throws.
And cannot hit the first. What a ball game. Holy cow. 29.2 on the clock. This free throw brought to you by Edmonds Sports Academy. She misses them both. Fife tries for the rebound. And a timeout. And an expert timeout at that by Joe March.
Boy, and we talked about it early third quarter, actually late third quarter, when both teams had 5 fouls on them at that point. The game might come down to free throw shooting, and sure enough, Edmonds Woodway choking away a lot of opportunities. We had Burdett miss a free throw that would have put them up by 4 and potentially 5 if she hits both of the 1-and-1 in regulation, and now we're seeing Missy Peterson miss 2 free throws that could have potentially tied this game up.
6 for 13. So less than 50% on the night for Edmonds Woodway. So that definitely doesn't help you any.
No, and 6 for 13, I mean, the number jumps out at you right there is that there's 7 misses. Maddie Burdett missing the front end of a 1-and-1, that's essentially 2 misses because you give up an opportunity for a second shot. You just hate to see it come down to a situation.
And at that point in time, it ices the game.
Yeah, it potentially would have, absolutely.
And now you find yourself down a deuce. The shot clock is off with 26.2 seconds on the game clock. Edmonds Woodway, full court man-to-man pressure.
They've been known to steal the inbounds passes.
And now they'll give it back to Castaneda, and a foul on the floor with 23.8 seconds to play. Casper picks up number 4. Still a one-on-one for Castaneda. Not quite into double bonus are the Eagles, so kind of gets squeaky. Here toward the end, the final 23. Castaneda perfect 2 for 2 from the line, both in the game and the overtime period. Ice cold. Picks up her 3rd.
And nothing but net there.
5 in for Kate Woolley for Edmonds Woodway.
No pressure. We've got a parent yelling behind us, Gracie, we need this, come on. I think she knows that already.
And it hits it. Back to a 4-point lead. It's a 2-possession ball game, and Jackson loses the handle. Here's Castaneda out top to Balderas, and a foul call. A 1-on-1 now becomes double bonus as Castaneda heads back to the free throw line. And if you're Edmonds Woodway, that is the last thing you needed, was to shoot yourself in the foot with a needless turnover.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, even if you come down and get a 3-pointer, you're still going to be hard-pressed to get that ball back and get a chance to tie or win the game, and just to have it go right off of her leg like that, it's a shame.
16 seconds on the clock. Castaneda, a perfect 5 for 5 from the field in overtime.
Castaneda makes that free throw, and all 4 of the girls on the Eagles team go up and give her a pat on the back after that make.
And they are happy, a joyous group right now heading into the Joe Marsh huddle.
A lot of smiles right now.
16 seconds left on the clock. 1 free throw remaining for Castaneda, and they've already got the 5-point lead. So should she hit this, it's still only a 2-possession basketball game, but you're going to have to get a 3 and get one quickly if you're Edmonds Woodway.
Yeah, 16 seconds to go. It doesn't leave you much time. I mean, really, by the time you get down there and even take a shot, you're going to take 8, 10, 12 seconds off the clock. Even if you get that, it's almost mission impossible here. Stranger things have happened in basketball, but Arlington right now has to like their chances.
Edmonds Woodway, probably their next possession will be based on this free throw by Castaneda. Should she miss it, you might want to go for the 2. Because if you're going to get an opportunity for a second shot down the road, it's probably going to come from long range.
And Arlington dropping 3 players back on defense. They might concede a 3-pointer here.
Castaneda hits the free throw. Now Moni Jackson comes into front court. She's going to go the whole way. She needed a 3, but will take the deuce. And now inbound it comes. Janosek fouled with 6.4 seconds to go, and that will be Natalie Casper's final trip, perhaps, on the high school hardwood. A senior this year will exit the game with her 5 fouls at 13 points for the game.
And this is just the hard reality. We knew coming into this tournament there were going to be teams that really belong in regionals that weren't going to make it out of districts just because there's only so many spots for so many great teams, and it looks like Edmonds Woodway is about to take that 4th spot and be the first one out.
Janosek hits the free throw and all but ices it. Down 5 now. This will make it a very tough 2-possession ball game should she hit it, and it misses. And now here comes Moni Jackson. Here's Kate Woolley with a long 3, no front iron, and that will be the ball game. The final in overtime, 57-52. Moving on to the regional tournament, the Arlington Eagles. Edmonds Woodway Warriors are done for the year. And we will round out the scoring and the analysis as Steve Willits gets ready for our Sound Live Sports Network Player of the Game. We'll take a break on STSPN and the Sound Live Sports Network. Arlington moving on. Welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network. The final in overtime, 57-52, the Arlington Eagles with the win. And our Sound Live Sports Network player of the game, Jessica Ludwig, standing by.
Thank you, Keith, and welcome back once again. The Arlington Eagles are heading to regionals. Fans here are going nuts, Jessica. Look at that. They're yelling your name. They're cheering. Big three-pointer. You guys were down by 3. You needed a basket. Walk us through that play. That was NBA range.
That was just a normal play we always run at the end of quarters. Savvy Bilzer, our shooter, didn't get it. They were in her face. They know she's a shooter. I stepped out. She passed it to me, and a shot had to fall for me eventually. Now,
in the overtime also, I think first possession down, you missed the shot. You went right back up with it, got your rebound, went up again. Were you looked abundance of energy at that point. Is that all adrenaline, or are you feeling pretty good at that point?
I was really frustrated most of the game. I just, shots weren't falling for me. I was missing lay-ins. I had some fouls that, were just frustrating. So I felt like I needed to score for my team and rebound and just do whatever I could.
So a little bit of everything tonight. 13 points. We know you had double-digit rebounds. All-around good game for you tonight.
Thank you. It was just, I have a really good supporting cast. They'll get me the ball when I need it. I'll give them the ball when they need it.
You guys had a 13-point lead there in the third quarter and lost it. Did you feel like momentum was slipping? What did you guys need to do to get your confidence back?
I just knew that, we'd get it back on defense. Defense is our thing, and if we get stops and scores, we'll be just fine.
Well, you did it, and you are our player of the game. I'm going to get a picture of you right now. I'm sure the more important thing is you're going to regionals, but you're Sound Live Sports Network player of the game shirt, so if you can look over there at Todd, get that up on the internet. Jessica Ludwig gets a t-shirt, but more importantly, Jessica Ludwig gets a trip to regionals, Keith. Back to you.
More rebounds than points for Jessica Ludwig, who finished the night with 13 points. And I had her at 13 rebounds long before the half. So an outstanding double-double for that young lady, who averages 10.3 points again, the senior, moving on to continue her career at the regional tournament. Edmonds Woodway going home. They finished with a record of 18-6 on the season, and were dabbling continually through the regular season. Through midway, were ranked, I think, as high as 4 in the state of Washington, and that just shows you how powerful and how rounded this District 1 3A tournament has really been, and it's really unfortunate that they can't continue their trip. They were there last year and had to do it the hard way, and this time going home.
Yeah, and Keith, really nothing for these ladies to be ashamed of at all this year. I'm sure you've probably touched on that already, but just to see the progression from one year to the next, and to see the way that Moni Jackson was leading this team this year, and you look at the emergence of Peterson and Casper and Burdette and all of them. I mean, really a great team, and I'm sorry for them that they can't make it this far, but certainly I think when those young ladies and when the coaching staff looks back on this years and years from now, they have nothing to put their heads down about. They should be very proud of what they've done all season long.
Arlington goes to the state tournament for the 3rd time in a row, having won or gotten to this championship game a couple of years ago. Edmonds Woodway has been there 3 times in the last 6 years, so definitely 2 programs on the rise. And the final in overtime, once again, 57-52. Stay tuned on the Sound Live Sports Network, and STSPN will have the boys game coming right up. It's Arlington and Stanwood. Winner goes on, loser goes home.